Hey, what's up? I'm Cody the Coin Raptor, and I'm coming at you with another Bitcoin episode. So I want to go ahead and just get right into it because there's a lot of really important things that I want to talk about in this episode, including a huge amount of Bitcoin options that are set to expire at the end of the year. First, I want to start with chart TA as I usually do. So Bitcoin actually went out all the way up to about 108,000 before coming back down again. We saw over the past couple of days a pretty steep sell-off, and this is really not all that surprising, quite frankly, and we can kind of expect that Bitcoin is going to have these pullbacks. The fact that it's held this 95,000 support level, I think, is actually pretty bullish. We saw something similar happen back here in later November, and where Bitcoin went up to almost 100K and then came all the way back down about 10,000 or so to 91,000, and then continued to move up after that. And this seems like a very similar move. One of the reasons why Bitcoin went down so much, though, is because the Fed had their FOMC. They decided to cut interest rates by about 0.25%. Normally, this is a bullish development, but for some reason, they had more of a bearish tone and more hawkish tone, saying in next year there's not going to be as many cuts. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, as long as you're cutting, it doesn't really matter how long it takes in order to actually get lower. As long as they continue to cut, it really doesn't matter. So I think this is honestly kind of an overreaction by the market that caused a huge drawdown from where it was earlier in the week now to where it is right now, almost a $10,000 difference. And that also caused a huge amount of longs to get completely destroyed. So we saw long liquidations reach about $182 million. And then over the last couple of days, we've seen huge amounts of long liquidations just in crypto in general. And so that's another reason why the prices have gone down so much. Now, I want to go ahead and get to what happened with the Bitcoin options market, because this is huge. And this is something I want to talk about because I think we're going to see a massive amount of volatility before the end of the year. If you go ahead and take a look at Deribit and you look at their Bitcoin options that are set to expire on the 27th of December, you can see here that there's actually about $14 billion worth of options set to expire towards the end of the year. Now, this is about $8.5 billion worth of calls and about $5.6 billion worth of puts, mostly calls. And what this is telling me right now is that Bitcoin is going to be in for kind of a rough end to the year. Now, this isn't abnormal. Most years, we do actually wind up having an end of the year large amounts of options expiry before the end of the year. That's actually pretty normal. But what isn't normal is the fact that there's $14 billion worth. This is something that I haven't ever seen. I've never seen this many options that are due to expire at the end of the month and the end of the year. If you go ahead and take a look at the max pain price, you're sitting at about $82,000 for the Bitcoin max pain price. Now, according to Max Pain theory, the Bitcoin price tends to gravitate towards the max pain level because that's the highest, that's the most losses that will be incurred by the contract holders. And so that kind of tells me that the expectation for Bitcoin is going to be lower by the end of the year. Now, I don't think that the max pain price is going to be hit. I don't think we're coming anywhere near 82K. But the simple fact is that traders right now are betting on 82K as a whole, as an aggregate, instead of saying, we're going to be near 100, 110, 150, whatever the other prices may be. But they're coming and saying, okay, we're actually going to be close to 82K. And so this is going to provide for just a massive amount of volatility. I said here before, $14 billion worth of volatility towards the end of next week. And so don't be surprised if we wind up seeing more large liquidations in the Bitcoin price. If we wind up seeing Bitcoin take a big move to the upside or a big move to the downside, don't be surprised that actually happens because of so many contracts that are set to expire on the 27th of December. Now, I don't want to scare you guys. I'm going to give you some good news too. And so if we go back to the Bitcoin whale, this is Whale Wallet, also known as Mr. 100. This guy has been buying and selling Bitcoin rapidly. He's been trading Bitcoin over the last, it's about December, late November, and early December. He's been selling a large amount of his Bitcoin. And only recently, actually, he's gone through and decided to buy Bitcoin back on about the 16th of December. So this whale wallet here, which is currently the number 10 whale wallet in the world, and he has started to buy Bitcoin back again. And so this wallet's actually pretty good at determining the Bitcoin price and buying low and selling high. And so right now we're starting to see here that he's actually starting to get back into the game. I think that's actually bullish for Bitcoin, and especially for people who are interested in buying, just to know you have this huge whale wallet that's actually been buying as well. Now, if we take a look at our Bitcoin spot ETFs, we can see here that there's been nothing but good news when it comes to spot ETFs. Massive inflows, massive daily inflows. We've seen the total net assets go all the way from say about $103 billion at the start of the month to where they are right now is about $115 billion, all the way at the high of about $121 billion. So we've seen a lot of new money coming into the Bitcoin spot ETF space, and I think this is also very bullish. Now, again, when you combine the fact that the institutional buyers are buying, and then you have these spot ETFs and the whales and retail investors, you go ahead and take a look at our spot, our exchange reserve and Bitcoin on the exchange, or how many Bitcoin are on the exchanges. You can see here that it continues to go lower and lower and lower. Now, I show you guys this chart just about every video I make because it is so important to understand the fact that there is just not going to be enough Bitcoin going around. And the fact is, I have yet to see any sort of reversal when it comes to the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges. There is simply too much demand and too little supply right now for the current market that we've had. Now, that being said, we're also going to go ahead and take a look at the Fear and Greed Index, and that gives us an idea of sentiment. And the Fear and Greed Index right now is sitting at about 75, which is a strongly in the greed category. However, it's pretty far off its high, which was back in November, which went all the way up to 94. So I do think that there's still some more room left to run when it comes to sentiment. And I really would not bet against Bitcoin right now. It might be a different story if it reaches the 95K level and then comes all the way down here to 92K and that support level fails as well. But until we wind up seeing that, I do think that Bitcoin's going to make a new all-time high before the end of the year, and I do think that there's going to be large liquidations in both directions. We could wind up seeing huge 10% plus swings before the end of the year. All right. And I'm going to be watching it all. I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the market. If you guys are interested in that, make sure you follow me on X, follow me on Threads, and also follow me here on YouTube as well. Please subscribe, like the video. I greatly appreciate that. I know this is a little bit longer of a video, but thank you for making it all the way through the video. And I'll finally get through my last thoughts when it comes to price prediction. I do think that Bitcoin is going to wind up going to 110 possibly by the end of the year. Maybe even 150 or so by the end of next year. Okay, I'm very interested in seeing how this thing all plays out, and I do think that we're still in the early stages of this bull run. And I have not sold any of my Bitcoin. Remember, I was buying Bitcoin down here, right? All the way down here in the 50s. I have not sold any of those Bitcoin since I bought there. And if I do, I'll definitely post it on my Twitter or Threads, and I'll make a video about it as well. But anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.